This is a video of the most terrifying true Reddit horror stories that range from car crashes and even murders. This story starts with a man named Gano Smith, who didn't live the best life. He was left behind by his family, was constantly around the country, and never had a consistent job. According to Southwest Iowa Union, Smith was reportedly a quiet person. He was a farmer, expert deer hunter, and an ex-Marine, who had issues living in Denver, Colorado, and proceeded to move back to Iowa to live with his stepmother. Gano attempted to settle down living at his stepmother's house, but had no success living there. After failing to get on with his stepmother, he then decided to move in with his uncle, aunt, and 4 cousins in Martinsburg, Iowa. Everything with the family seemed normal until the 27th of May, 1962. The Macbeth children, Donna Jean Kellogg, Amos, also Anna, were driving on their way to a dance class, and Perry Donis, the 6-month-old child, was left at home. Smith had came along to the dance class, but shortly left and disappeared into the night, nowhere to be seen. Smith then returned to the dance in the truck to pick everyone up. Beads of rain were beating off the truck and lightning struck against the fields as thunder crackled in the midnight sky. Smith had then pulled over and all 5 of them had gotten out of the truck to grab some food. They all got back into the truck and continued back to the farmhouse where all the lights were turned off. The children then looked around for flashlights. As the lights were turned off, they looked around the house to see why the lights weren't on. But Donna and Amos found the horrifying sight of both their parents dead in the garage. This is when Smith appeared out of the darkness, armed with a gun and flashlight, before aiming it at Amos's head and pulling the trigger, and then proceeding to do the same to Donna. Patsy got shot in the shoulder but managed to sprint to another room where she unfortunately discovered her sister Anna dead. Patsy, absolutely terrified with fear, found her way out of the house and ran towards a ditch and crawled through the grass, narrowly escaping Smith's light, flooding the area around her. She had then reached a nearby farmhouse where she called her uncle, Thurman Macbeth. Smith had gone on the run for 4 days but was found at Lake Wapello. Once caught by the police, he instantly confessed both to the Macbeth murders and also the murder of his stepmother, wanted to Smith the previous October in Hedrick, Iowa. In Iowa at the time, the death penalty was still around, and prosecutors wanted Smith dead, but his fate was left up to the judge. Prosecutors argued that he tried to exterminate a whole family. A psychiatric evaluation concluded that Smith was sane. Smith pleaded for mercy to Judge Carson. Carson sentenced Smith to 6 life sentences and hard labour. The sentences would run consecutively, ensuring Smith could never leave jail during his lifetime. Infant Perry, who was in the crib, was luckily left unharmed and was adopted by his uncle. Perry has opened up about all the traumas he has had since he had grown up. Perry was quoted saying, "All the way through school, I was a bully because I wanted people to hurt as bad as I did. I hated everything and everybody." He said, "I'm sorry about that now. When I see those people today, I try to tell them that, but they just don't understand." In 1971, Smith was filed an unsuccessful motion for a new trial. He was interviewed in prison in 1974. In it, Smith accepted he would die in prison. Smith stated he was excited to get an education and was studying academics and cooking. He performed well in both subjects, having a 3.75 GPA in the cooking program and a 3.3 GPA in academics. Smith later passed away on May 16, 2005 due to heart problems. He was transferred to the hospital shortly before his death. Smith's body was cremated and buried in Mount Zion Cemetery, next to the plot of his mother. Perry also stated after Smith's death, he wishes he had hung and said he hopes he burns in hell. Just a reminder that it would be extremely helpful if you subscribed. Going back to the video, this story is equally, if not more horrifying than the last. This story begins in Iowa City, which was founded on January the 21st, 1839, and has grown to a population of 74,828 in 2020. Iowa has many tourist destinations and opportunities, but the city hasn't always been perfect. Stephen Supple was born on August 13th, 1965, and was the son of William and Patricia Tierney Suppel. As Stephen grew up, he done extremely well in school and graduated Regina High School, and later graduated University at North Iowa. Stephen and his family were Catholics and were a part of St. Mary's Church. Stephen later on met his wife Shirley Kesterson and were married together on June the 13th, 1990. However, it wasn't always a perfect life for Stephen. He was later accused of stealing $559,000 from the Hills Bank and Trust Company, but pleaded not guilty to stealing and money laundering. He was to arrive at court on April 21st, 2008. Stephen was released as he wasn't considered a risk to anyone, as he had no criminal record. If he was found guilty, he would be charged up to $1 million and would face 30 years in jail and 5 years with a supervised release. It's 11:30 p.m. on the 24th of March 2008, and Stephen has left a message for his father and brother-in-law. The message describes how his family is now in heaven and his wife has been brutally killed by a baseball bat. By now, the kids were still alive. From 11:30 p.m. to 3:45 a.m. Monday, according to a letter Stephen has wrote, it talks about how he allegedly grouped all the children together and brought them into the garage. He proceeded to put them in the van, in which he turned the van on and attempted to murder himself and them by carbon monoxide poisoning, but that didn't work. Once that had failed, Stephen had taken all the kids back into the house and ended them the same way he killed his wife. The 3 oldest children were found in the 3 bedrooms, and the youngest was found in the toy room. At 3:45 a.m, Stephen left a voice note for his former employee. Details of this message were never released. Stephen at 3:50 a.m. expressed his regret after killing his family by leaving a voice note on his answering machine. Stephen then left another message at 4:01 a.m. stating he tried drowning himself at Iowa River at Lower City Park, but said he kept floating. 2 hours passed and 911 dispatchers received a call telling them to go to Stephen and Shirley's address immediately. The call had came from Stephen's phone and instantly disconnected without identifying themselves. It was now 6:36 a.m. and there had been another 911 call reporting a crash on Interstate 80 outside Iowa City. A car had crashed into a pillar travelling at high speeds and had gone into a huge ball of fire. The body has been so badly disfigured the police couldn't identify who it was. The only way they figured out who was in the car crash was through dental records, and was revealed to be Stephen Suppel. Thanks for listening to these 2 terrible stories. I'd appreciate it if you dropped a like and subscribed.